We are live. Hi, everybody. Kevin and Kevin. Yeah. Totally. This is bound to mix some people's minds for sure on many levels. Just getting our names.
Right.
I go by Kevin, Kev, whatever. And I think
yeah, same.
I think we'll just intuitively know who they're talking to.
Well, and if you want, what were we doing? KC and KL?
Oh, right. Yes, that was Mel. Mel created that for us. KC and KL. Right. Yeah. It's all good. Kevin, thank you so much for being on my channel. I've been looking forward to this since we read together on your channel and then together on Mel's, and I was looking forward to this. So I'm so glad that you are here with me. It was, as I shared with you, such a great experience. I find you're so calming. And so I'm sure you get that a lot.
I do get that a lot, yes. And so thanks for inviting me. I've been looking forward to it as well.
Wonderful. I appreciate it. And hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you all for being here. This is a little earlier than I normally go on, so I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Like the afternoon vibe. There we go.
There we go.
You haven't been on my channel before, so I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about who you are, what you're doing, what your channel is all about, all of that good stuff. Whatever you feel like sharing, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Well, I do have a YouTube channel. It's Kevinlovingvibrations. I do a lot of political reading on that. And every now and then I like to have new guests on, do some personal readings as well. Eventually, I'd like to even kind of break out and do some healing work on there as well. Kind of trying to figure out how I would like to do that still. But, you know, that's for down in the future. I'm still kind of planning that. But yeah, I do Reiki and intuitive readings for clients. If anybody's interested in that, I have all that information on my page. And I'll just say, I've always felt that I was very intuitive, especially identifying as an empath. So really feeling things really strongly. And with that, a lot of that knowing as well. You know, things just come to me as I'm tapping into somebody's energy. And I'll say when I started my Reiki journey is when a lot of my gifts really started to develop with that channeling, that high vibrational work, and kind of doing this as energy work, raising my vibration so that they're compatible with my guides and loved ones on the other side. And yeah, it's really helped with that connection.
Yeah, I love that. I'm that piqued my interest when you said about the offering of doing healing. I think there's something there. I think that's really interesting, and incorporating it into your channel. I'm excited for that.
I was on Shining Hawk Healings, and she did into Reiki and shamanic work, and we were doing a healing for somebody in there, and it was a little awkward because it's like we have to figure out how to do this right. So, but yeah, I would like to do that on my channel and figure out a good way to do that.
I love that. That sounds exciting. I'm just going to sneak away for 1 second.
You're fine.
Be 1 second.
Yes, lawyer. I'm excited the beard's coming back.
I saw that in the comments. People were weighing in on your beard.
Yes.
And the happy early birthday to you.
Thank you.
Your birthday is officially tomorrow. Exciting. Yep. So exciting. Do you have plans for your birthday?
Not that I'm aware of. I think my husband and me will probably go out and have a nice dinner and some drinks.
That sounds exciting. Yeah, so if you want to book a personal reading or a Reiki session with Kevin, there's his email address, and also in the description, I've got his channel and his email as well. You don't have a website, do you? Or
not yet? It's in the works. There's a lot of things in the works, so one day.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. There's so many little there's so many things.
Well, you know, and too, then I start thinking about stuff like, I need to plan it, and then I don't know where to start with it. So it gets kind of overwhelming too. So I guess it will come when it's meant to.
Yeah, that's just it. Okay, Kevin, I'm curious. What led you to, I guess, the channel and the Reiki? I know you said you've always felt like as a young child being intuitive and aware of things. What was that like? Do you remember the moment when you were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna sign up for Reiki," or what did
Well,
that look
what,
like?
I'll say that, yeah, as you were saying, when I was a kid, I was definitely very sensitive. For me, I actually blocked it out for a while because
Mm,
it scared me. And
yeah.
especially at nighttime, like being in the dark, hearing, seeing, feeling things, really overwhelming. And I guess I never even really thought of it as psychic abilities until
Uh,
later on in my life. Um, I'll say I had a lot of childhood trauma and abuse that I dealt with, and was a really low place in my early adult years. And with that, I had a lot of stomach issues, like
oh,
solar plexus
mhm.
region, and um, I had gallbladder issues, and so I had a Reiki session done at that time,
Oh,
and I
wow.
didn't have any attacks with that for about a year afterwards. So instantly felt so much better, and then they started to flare up again, and I mean, since then I've had my gallbladder removed, but
Mm.
definitely always kind of interested in that. And even at one point, I was going to school for nursing, so that healing really kind of
Oh,
resonated with me for a while. Um, and then I would say around the 2016 election, I really got pulled into the political stuff with everything going on and learning tarot, and then really kind of trying to establish those abilities.
mhm.
And like I said too, then COVID happened, and I was kind of just bottling up a lot of that abuse and trauma. And I lost my job when COVID happened. It was kind of like the restaurant I was working at went under. So I was unemployed for about a year and a half. So I couldn't get away from those problems. I had to kind of go face to face with them. And with that, I was really pulled to do the Reiki and really do a lot of that reflection and letting go of things
Mm,
that aren't serving me anymore, a lot of that
mm,
shadow work. And so I would say that that was really the start of my journey. And
mm,
like I said, with that channeling that Reiki energy really helped with developing my gifts even stronger. And I would say the Reiki definitely gave me confidence to actually get out there and start my channel, because I'm very much very introverted and to myself, so it's definitely out of my comfort zone. Being on a show and everything like that, but I felt drawn to it for the longest time. Even when I started learning tarot, like I knew that
mm,
there was a reason why I was doing that, and fighting with my guides for a few years. But I started feeling more confident in myself. Um,
mm.
Reiki.
I love it. And I think that one of the big things that stands out in that share is the trauma part of it, that
Hmm.
we all have experienced trauma
Yeah.
at some point in our life, and how that can be the catalyst for the spiritual gifts, the growth, the stepping into it.
Yeah.
I've heard it time and time again. When
Well, what
you
doesn't
think
kill you
back,
makes you stronger, right? Like through
yeah,
all the hard times is when we really learn the most, if we're open to changing our perspective on things. We
yeah,
can sit in a low vibrational anger, fearful, dwelling on a lot of that stuff, or you can use those experiences and think, well, what did I learn from it? How is it
yeah,
helping me grow spiritually and evolving?
yeah,
And I think if you can
yeah,
hold that perspective, you know, and giving thanks for a lot of the trauma that we have, because it comes into our life to learn something. Um, a lot of that karmic circle kind of stops, because we kind of learn those lessons if we put it in that perspective.
right. Yeah, and I mean, another way of saying that is that we're always in any given moment, we're with the opportunity of choice around things, no matter
Mhm.
what that looks like. And I think that that's really powerful. When you talked about the reflection, it brought me to a question about in reflection, or maybe you were aware of it when you were a child or a young adult. Were you aware of your guides, or when was that? Or if you weren't, and now as
Mhm.
an adult, looking back in the reflection, were you like, oh, okay, that was a moment where? So I'm curious what that looked like while you
I
were.
wasn't really necessarily aware of my guides a whole long time, but prior to that, I would say as I was dabbling with the tarot, doing a lot of meditation work and that, they would kind of come to me. I don't get names, like not on like a name basis with my guides. Some people are really good at names for guides. For me, and I would say especially with the Reiki, when I do my self Reiki, I kind of go on my own healing journey, and it's almost meditative. And a lot of times I'll go like in the forest, and I have a like a Native American shaman guide that I think helps with
Wow.
Reiki. So yeah,
Awesome.
so yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And then I'm wondering if, and it might have been in a reading, it might have been 5 years ago, whatever that looks like. I'm curious if there was one standout moment that you could share where it was such a profound experience that deepened your trust with spirit.
I don't know if I can think of one moment. There's been many, you know, kind of reflecting back, trying to think about it. But I think, yeah, it definitely takes a while to not doubt yourself with it and kind of realize that, you know, if you're wrong, it's okay, but just being open to it. Well, you know, one of that happened recently that I can think of is I was giving a reading to a lady and connecting with her father that passed, and I just got the sense that that he sent her some kind of animal to let him know that he was near her. And at first I thought maybe it was birds, because that's typically what a lot of people will send. And then I heard straight no, and then a deer came to me, and I was like, "Do you get a lot of deer where you're at?" And she was like, I do get deer a lot. And she was like, I was like, because I think your dad sends deers to you when he's nearby you, and sending love. And she's like, it's so funny that you mentioned that, because before he was passing, um, she was staying with him a lot, and they'd get deers, and so she would feed them off of their porch. And her brother was there with her, and he would be like, don't feed the deer. They're going to be dependent on that. And her dad was like, feed the deer. And so it really resonated with her. And sometimes it's like weird things like that, and you're like, do I say that? Like, it feels kind of weird, but like, it really resonates with them, so you just share it. And so I just try not to doubt that anymore when I get that information.
Yeah. I think, and that's, I think one of the takeaways in that is that we all just need those moments to keep that trust, moving, because there's moments where it's like self-doubt, I think, is a natural thing. And the thought of being wrong, or, I find sometimes the most obscure things that I can't even wrap my head around, never mind start to interpret, are the most meaningful for people. So I love that. Yeah. That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I think this just came to me in that, but I think that it's important, because I think a lot of people, just in the questions that they were asking beforehand, in the conversations and how people reach out, what I feel one of the big takeaways and hopes, no pun intended, is that people are looking for a sense of hope. And so in that, what do you feel about that? I don't know if that was a direct question, but just around hope, what are your thoughts around that?
Well, a lot of times I would say that people will send you questions and stuff like that for like their reading, and they kind of already know. They want that reassurance and that hope. Like, they're already in touch themselves, or they wouldn't ask a certain question, or they feel like they just know, like, they're getting drawn into this direction, and they kind of really want that validation.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I think you're totally right, that whether
I
they're
don't know if that's
like,
what your question was about, but
it was kind of a loose question. It just
yeah.
led me to think about hope, and just that's what kind of came through, and I heard it just like go with it. So I don't even know if it was a direct question, but I love what you I love your answer.
Yeah.
Because so many people, they do have that knowing, and so it's just sometimes the reminder, like you said, the confirmation, or
Well, I
someone
think we're
else
all
saying it.
psychics. We all have that ability if you're open
Yes.
to it. I mean, obviously, some people are more gifted than others, but it's always something that can be developed further and expanded. Um, and like
Yeah.
I said too, we all have stronger gifts where we're really good at. Like for me, it's that empath, really feeling somebody's energy and
Mhm.
getting like even like the cold chills a lot with validation for the information that I'm getting, and then that just that knowing that comes along. But I would say if anybody's looking to really expand their gifts, try to when you do this kind of work, just try to go in a present kind of moment, like let go of any of the doubts or mistakes from the past that you keep on holding on to, or
Mhm.
some people are so goal oriented for their future, their minds is constantly churning. So if you can find places where you can connect and be in like that meditated present state, I think that that's really where that information comes through the strongest. Even when
Mhm.
we first wake up in the morning and we're kind of in that like groggy imaginary state, that's really the best time to really talk to your guides and to receive information.
I love that, Kevin. That's great. That's great advice. Great reminder. All right, so we are going to do some questions,
All right.
and we're open to personal questions. I haven't starred any, so apologies if you've posted a question. I was thoroughly invested in listening to Kevin. That's another thing. I think what he has to offer and share is super valuable. And so I didn't post or I didn't start any. So if you have questions, if you could put them in caps, we're open to personal, spiritual, mediumship, guides, angels, world events, whatever
Yeah.
people are interested in asking, and um, we'll star some here. And you are this. I just found out that I can. I think with the StreamYard, you can potentially add people as admin,
Oh yeah.
which sounds really, yeah, because then you can share the starring.
There is a way to do that. Because Deanne kind of struggles with keeping up in the chat while she's doing something. So a lot of times Katie Lightworker will come in and start her questions for us. So she doesn't have to worry about it so much.
Yes.
So yeah, you can
Yeah.
definitely do that. I'm not entirely sure how to do that myself, but it's hard when you're juggling so much, and especially like getting into that intuitive, creative part of your mind where you kind of just like that daze almost where you receive information, but then you're conversing with your guests, and then the chat's going a million miles a minute. It's a hard juggle with all of that, I think.
It's so true. And I saw Pamela, but hello to everyone. Hello to everyone that has been here and has come in. I see you all. We see you all. And thank you so much for being here. This stood out because Pamela said, and I think she was sharing that she had a reading last week.
Mm,
And she was talking about, I think it was just some validation. It's always intuition. So it just caught my eye and I felt like sharing it. So it might not mean anything to anyone. Oh, I remember the Raven,
mm.
Pamela. Yeah, the last little thing. I think she was asking a question from Spirit Guides, but Mom stepped forward. And so in that, now she's just sharing that she's been seeing lots of the Ravens for the last few weeks. I love it. I love that feedback. So thank you. Yeah, and people are saying too in the morning, that kind of like time where you're waking up. I
Yeah.
find like that time, and then when I'm in the shower,
I
there's
don't
lots
connect
of
too much at that
information.
time because I'm a caffeine addict, and like don't even look at me or talk to me till I've had a first cup of coffee. I don't want my guides bothering me first thing when I wake up. But it
Yeah,
is a good
however it
time
works.
if you're looking to experiment with it, and if you're open to it.
That's awesome. All right, this caught my eye, Aspie.
Mhm.
Why did pendulum studies suddenly start working for me when they did not before?
That's interesting.
Isn't that an interesting question?
When I feel like
Um,
Ashley is really in touch too, um, so I would definitely always follow that instinct. I like to use my pendulum more so as that confirmation from when I'm getting something, or I'm feeling something. I'll just double check with my pendulum just to see if agreeing with me, or, maybe I'm, misinterpreting the message. But I always, before I use it, I always like to make sure that it works for me. Ask what it would look like for yes for my question, no, maybe. And then I always test it too by is my name Kevin? And I'm going to say yes. Is my dog's name Bruno? And a no for that. And just kind of testing it that way. And mine has some crystals in it, so I always like to put it in my selenite bowl just to keep it charged.
Okay, yeah.
So that's how I do it.
That's interesting that you mentioned that, the selenite. So two things came through, Aspie, and that one is that I feel like it's such a personal relationship with the pendulum, and instead, I don't know if someone gifted it to you or, but really being in tune with the actual selection of the right pendulum, and then specific crystals or different stones can really resonate or not with us. So I feel like maybe, I don't know if you switched pendulums from when it wasn't working to, or if you're talking about the same one, but I feel like there might be something there, and that is.
Yeah, and as you were saying that too, Kevin, that was really resonating with me. Like maybe that wasn't the right pendulum for you, but
yeah,
the right one's out there. It's not resonating with your energy the best.
Yeah. There we go.
About it.
Okay, so we've got lots of questions, probably definitely more than we will be able to get to. We have about, we'll be on for about a total of an hour. So just under 40 minutes left, just to give people an idea. And if you're new, just a reminder that we don't always go in the order. I don't always go in the order. Spirit will lead us to the questions that really stand out. And so in that, instead of the disappointment of not having your question answered or read, two things: just be really open to hearing message from somebody else's message that resonates with you, because that part of it is for you. And the other part is, if we could be, and I know you all do this so graciously, to just be the open space and give people the support and space when they're getting their message, I think is really important as well. So, yeah,
and when we're reading too, it's kind of like, we have the chat going on, so it is very much for the collective, I think.
It is.
And if you want to, when I do the personal readings, I always like to throw a card for the collective, like a message.
I love that
here too.
Yeah,
so we can definitely do that if you're open to that.
I'm totally open to that. Maybe we'll insert that somewhere in the middle.
Sure.
You might have to remind me. I heard animal cards, so yeah. Okay, I know where that's going. All righty, so I'm going to throw up our first. I'm feeling this one. Hello from Canada. You guys are great. Thank you all for what you do. Can I ask if there's anything coming for me, or do my parents or brother have a message for me? Happy birthday, Kevin.
Thank you.
It's that Kevin. It's his birthday. We were joking backstage. I'm like, now I have friends that do birthday month. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm maybe like a good hour or so. But other than that, I'm pretty... I don't mind getting older. I actually prefer it.
It just feels like another day, doesn't it?
It kind of does. Yeah. Jumping out. Morning Glory, message from you. Have you been working on your meditation? Morning Glory, I just feel like this real sense of inner peace around you. Exactly that. Yeah. So just, I don't know if you've been intentionally creating that kind of time and space, but I feel that as the energy of spirit comes through, I'm not placing it as mom, dad, or brother. I feel it's collective in the, they're acknowledging that. And I feel that it's so it's an opportunity for you. And Kevin was talking about that earlier. In answering how we will often know the questions. We're not separate from the communication with our loved ones either. And that's the energy that's coming through. So from the other side, they're with you in those moments. They're with you all the time, but in those moments, it's a real gateway and opportunity for you to be in communication with them. So have the conversation, be in the communication with them. They're working with you, and just really, acknowledging the inner peace. It feels like a really special place that you've created. So that's coming right out. So
I love that. And I'm getting very much similar messages too. Like right now, really focusing on finding that balance for you, because I feel like you've been going through something. In your past, I have the temptress card, so that can kind of mean a broken promise, somebody around you that maybe isn't the most honest person, and from that hardship, there's some apprehension going into the world. But you working on it right now with the yin and yang to bring that balance for you. And you know what? I'm also drawn to this butterfly too, because I do definitely feel mom's presence, I think, around you the strongest, just excitement and kind of like big personality. But with this butterfly too, I feel like I'm being drawn to maybe she sends you butterflies while you're out. And then, yeah, finding that passion and that connection with your guides with this card, I feel. And as, like I said, as you're working through the hard stuff and bringing that eternal love and happiness into your life. Getting goosebumps with this card too. So definitely going into a more balanced, loving, harmonious energy. I hope that resonates, Morning Glory.
Thank you for your question. Pamela, this is good advice. Note taken.
Oh, you're welcome.
I just want to put this one up here. Sharon, my thoughts are with you. And I know that I can speak on behalf of everybody. That's really, that's such a hard part. Losing someone, and then, one that struggled, and just knowing that the transition, it'll just always be peaceful, and it's a hard one sometimes because we go through the grief and the upset and the mourning of that. But on the other side, and it's sometimes hard to hear, but it's a celebration, and it's a returning back to the pure nature and essence of who we are, which is that expression of love. And so in that, yes, I just see lots of peace around it. And it's definitely, none of us are separate from that. And so our thoughts are with you around that. Okay, we are. Steph L, I have a question. I was wondering if my next job direction should be towards interior design, travel, or something else entirely. If so, what? Help, I'm lost. Interesting.
No, I'm getting pulled towards the interior design just as I'm reading.
Yeah. That was my initial hit. Yeah. Creative. It's like you're most passionate. So it's like it feels like you could do great at all of them, and you would.
Yeah.
But the passion, I feel, is in that creative part of you. I feel that's more of your dominant side of the brain that you work with. And so in that creative, that's the instant pull for me. Let's see what the cards say.
Yeah, that's what the cards say.
Did you dream about the job? I am curious. I just got the dream hit. Did you dream about actually getting one of the jobs, or are you dreaming about that? Because I feel like your dreams are actually assisting and encouraging you in one of those directions. Steph.
Yeah, I feel like it's a new direction Steph's going in, for sure. Because I feel like where she's at right now, the energy feels very kind of unstable. Maybe maybe there was somebody like a colleague where you felt like you were backstabbed or kind of defeated with this job that you're at now. But definitely heading in a new direction financially with this Page of Pentacles, and with that, with this new direction that you're going into, it's going to bring a lot of abundance, and you're going to be able to give and receive. So giving back to others with this new job. And I'll just say too, I had this Hierophant fly out, and that's very much like a leadership, a teacher position. So I feel like follow your passion and where your gut guides you. I do have a strong feeling towards the interior design, but yeah, I think that you're going to be a leader in it, whatever direction that you go into. Like it's your calling with that Hierophant card. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Yeah, for sure, Kevin. Just to pivot off of what he was saying, just that willing release. I feel like there's this, I don't know if it's external, internal, or combination of both, but just allowing yourself to, it just feels like a lot of pressure around it in like, if you've invested or you've taken training and all of these things that would, kind of line you up for doing certain things. But if that's not filling kind of the passion well, then allowing yourself to release that kind of expectation and that give yourself permission to step into what is kind of pulling and calling to you at this time. And I got 2 more cards just to kind of that actually support that. It's the Fortune Wheel, which is all about kind of like luck, if you call it luck, but luck and kind of good timing. And it feels like that's occurring for you. And then the Feast of Plenty, which is all about the choices. So it doesn't feel like you can make a wrong decision. I think you're going to do really well, and they feel good whichever avenue you go. But there seems to be one that stands out. And okay, they said go back to the card. And this one has 2 swords kind of in that crystal ball, if you will. And it's not to say that it's bad, but those ones just don't feel like they're as, as fueling as the other ones. So there does feel in that, like there is a standout, but there's a little bit of that resistance. So just releasing that is what they're saying, and stepping into your choice. And it feels good. It feels like you'll have that figured out, the clarity around that. So
love that.
Yeah, hope that makes sense, Steph. All righty. Where are we headed? I always like this question. Christine Butler, blessings. What are my gifts? I think you're just go ahead, Kevin.
So I'm instantly being pulled to the third eye chakra. And I feel like that might have to do with some psychic dreaming or like clairvoyance. But I also feel very empathic too, and maybe even like healing. I think starts on it.
I got a hit on that when you said the third eye and healing. I'm wondering if you've had thoughts or you're starting to see and hear more about Reiki. It could be a different modality, but that's kind of, I got a ping on that one when you said the healing. Christine, I'm curious if you'd understand that. Yeah, third eye.
Definitely very open third eye. I feel like I can just feel the purple swirling from it. Very open.
So the empath, I got the sensitivity card. So spot on there, Kevin, just acknowledging your sensitivity around things and working with that in a way that it becomes like your superpower, stepping into it.
You can't make this stuff up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's perfect. It takes courage. When courage is actually stripped down, it's a choice that we step into. So it just feels like there's new opportunity around the perspective that you have with your sensitivity. So kind of learning new ways to use those, for good, not using them to your better, what am I trying to say? To see them as a strength versus a disability, if you will. So really stepping into that.
Christine says that she was a holy fire Reiki master, not practicing now.
Oh, that's
but
so interesting.
It's so interesting because as I pulled, I got my healing card.
Oh,
so it's just so funny, like how that validation works. If I can share this message with you, Christine, real quick. It's be illuminated by love and truth. Right now, healing is taking place to support your understanding of the gifts in your experiences. Weird or difficult circumstances can often be a fast-tracked path to your desires. Until we recognize subtle imbalances, the best way to clean up outdated beliefs is to have our buttons pushed. Buttons are created by continued attention to unbalanced thoughts, ideas, or beliefs. Every time we are reminded of or talk about hurt, it pushes a button and reopens a wound that we are yet to heal. Wounds are created by mental, spiritual, or physical trauma. Poking at them will prolong the healing process. Leave them alone so balance can be restored and wholeness can be returned. Inspired action for healing may include seeing a therapist, consult a medical professional, or spending time in the ocean. When I'm really feeling drawn to water for you. Focusing on what you love is also healing. All is perfect in every moment, and if we can't see it at the time, even if we can't see it at the time. But I just love this, and just the imagery is so powerful on it. And yeah, I feel like healing, maybe you said that you're not doing it right now, but maybe there's some kind of new connection to that healing.
It's so perfect, Kevin. It was so funny when you said, "Oh, we should do a card for the collective or whatever, or a message," and that was it. I said about halfway through we do it, and that spoke to, I think, so many people in the chat. I just kind of I went there and all ears, and I think that was definitely the collective message. So in that, it goes to the courage part of it, because I saw one of your comments, Christine, about like just having the courage to do it. It's simply a choice, and it feels like sometimes we're lacking in that. We can do it. So if you feel like you need the help, Archangel Ariel would be a good one to call in to help you with the courage to really step into that knowing when you have such a clear knowing about this certain aspect of who you are. So really calling upon their energy in this time will really be helpful. So I feel like that resonated.
Yeah, I love
but
that.
I hope it resonated. Nice.
And even as we're talking about healing being occurred for the collective, I think especially since the pandemic, it's been such a transitionary point for so many people where they have had to do that self-reflection, like myself, like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And really letting go of those things that are no longer serving you and getting in your own way, holding you back from your greatest potential and highest self. A lot of us are doing that healing work at the moment. We are transitioning into a much more positive direction. You kind of need a lot of the ugly and scary things to kind of be that wake up call to awaken,
And it's all coming together, because the question, how I had a question and I had written it down, and then it kind of evolved into another one, and it went into that feeling of a sense of hope, and that actually is healing. Like healing isn't just like hands up or hands on and doing that. Like that's definitely a part of it, but healing is providing ourselves or somebody else a sense of hope. And so in that, I feel that healing card and the share there, Kevin, was that's a big part of it for us. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Kevin, we always seem to be in I'm like, we always seem to be in tune. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah, and you know what? To be honest, I don't feel the most in tune today, but as we do these collabs and work with other people, you kind of get into this like meshed energy where you really start to connect, and we'll both start picking up the same things, or one of us will say something and the other one will elaborate onto it even further. And I just love how that works with these collabs.
Yeah. That's my experience, Kevin, with you. So thank you. And your guides, I think, are really I think our guides really like each other. I think that's helpful. Whatever that means. I don't know. I've never said that before. So there you have it. Okay. I think this goes with the, and so Jen, you may have drawn something from what was just spoken, but we would love to tune into this a little bit more for you. Jen T. Yeah. And it's not to take away or try to get us out of how we feel in this very moment, but the one thing I find that's really helpful is that I remind myself in those moments, and then I also do it when things feel really joyful and happy, and in that both can feel kind of overwhelming. And I remind myself that they're both sides of it are always temporary. And that this, Linda G always says it, this too shall pass. And it's so true. These moments are temporary. Again, I feel this energy from angelic realm around you. So knowing or not, the angelic realm is working with all of us. And so at this time, stepping into their energy. So calling upon your angels to really assist you with what you're going through. I do have the awareness of your heart chakra. So some healing that's occurring around that. So, so angelic realm is so supportive in these times. Oh, that card jumped out. Yeah.
Jen T, I pulled, I just got this new deck that I just love. Sorry. It's Healing Energy Oracle. And I just asked for some guidance and advice. And the message I got for you is freedom. But if you look at the yellow too, I'm being pulled to like that solar plexus just above your belly button in the gut. Maybe some issues with that as well. But the freedom card, and the message is, I realize my wounds create doubt, resentment, or guilt. So I work to free myself of darkness. I cast off negative thoughts, find peace in my heart, and discover the being of light within me, which I love. So I know, like you said, it's hard to sometimes, not being able to, to let that completely go, because we need to have that time to process things. But I think what Kevin said was really good advice. Like, this is kind of temporary, and there's a freedom really with just letting it go, and learning the lesson, but then just surrendering it out to the universe with me, because ultimately these hard times are what really make us grow and evolve. And, it's just so freeing when we can kind of shake it off, but definitely need a little bit of time to process things.
Yeah. I mean, with the solar plexus, that feels like the energy that's being drawn in there. So agree, there's something in there that's our security and our safety. And so in that, a little bit of tension also in the solar plexus, and that, we can rejuvenate and kind of refuel. And in our meditative or downtime, in our grounding, that really helps nurture and balance that chakra, that area. And then I pulled the Great and Full card, which is in any given moment. And that's sometimes really hard as humans to do, but we can be grateful in any given moment, in any circumstance. And so that can really take something. And sometimes we're not successful in that, but that we do have that opportunity. And sometimes Kevin talked about it in reflection. Sometimes we get there, which is great as well. But really trying to go back to being in that moment of being present. And we all have that potential. So hopefully that resonates with you, Jen. And thank you for your question and being here.
Elaborate real quick too.
Do it, please.
As we're talking too about how a lot of these readings are for the collective, it's a very overwhelming time for a lot of people right now. I mean, the world's kind of a lot of chaos and upheaval that we're working through. So with that, on top of traumas and hard situations, it can definitely be very overwhelming. But yeah, like Kevin said, this is only temporary. And, take your time with it, kind of feel it, and then, let it go, find that freedom and letting it go and just really lightening up the energy. Because it's not good to feel just so down and dense,
I love that. I have not seen this name before, so I might not. Monile? Mona Lee? Oh, I love that name. Mona Lee. That sounds way better than Monile. But either way, great question. And hello to everybody that's joined. Thank you all for being here. And don't forget to subscribe to Kevin's Loving Vibrations channel if you haven't already. Wonderful channel and lots of great collabs with Deanne, Shield Maiden. Did I get that? I was going to say Iron, but it's not. Deanne, Shield Maiden, Tarot, and Mel, the psychic. I forget his channel name.
Intuitive psychic and consultant or something like that. Something like that.
That's a hard one for me to remember.
Very kind. Sure. And definitely we'll have Kevin back on my channel sometime soon.
Sounds good.
And hopefully I'm invited back here.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, but that goes without saying. Mona Lee, I feel like you second guess your intuition. It's like, I feel like you, and then you kind of like second guess. It's this feeling of you get that gut feeling and that you don't always go with that. And there's not, that's not a bad thing, but I feel like you're really in tune with a strong sense of intuition and just trusting that and stepping into that. Feels really good. They're wanting to acknowledge that. And for some reason, I know this wasn't your question, but I don't know if you're considering job change, but careers coming up. It's like career. So I don't know if that's been some of your thoughts or if you're actively kind of looking for new, but that kind of feels good, that consideration. So I'll pull a card or two, but.
And even with this new job too, I feel like it might be kind of like an art field, like some kind of metaphysics, or like maybe that's a new direction that you should go into. Because I'm picking up Mona Lee. I had two cards fly out, and they're both kind of similar. We have I am light and manifestation of light. So really tapping into, helping others and being a light worker. But I'm feeling drawn more to this manifestation of life. And the message for you is I see the beauty in me. I grow and develop my inner self in harmony with light and beauty, free myself from negativity. My heart transforms, my intellect shines, and my inner light grows. And I just feel like there's an inner light coming from that heart chakra and giving all that unconditional love out to others and coming like straight out the crown as well. So definitely probably doing a lot of your own spiritual journey work and really connecting with your guides. I feel like you're really in tune. And I would say to continue doing that work and manifesting your dreams into your desires and dreams into reality.
Yeah, that feels strong. Like they're in that, Kevin, they're also acknowledging the resilience. So there's something around so your kind of past experiences and in that and stepping, when you said the crown chakra and just being so connected, it's like sometimes we're not in recognition of that, or just we sometimes get familiar with it that we sometimes don't recognize that we're actually in that, if that makes sense. But there's a resilience that they're pointing out. So from your past, it's like where you are now, use that for that momentum of, the manifestation and the things. And we're, we have to get past this thing of, it reminds me of a question we had a week or so ago about someone wanting to step into their gifts and they had put this age bracket to it. And we're, if we're going to do that, then like, so it just feels like, don't put those parameters around it because of A, B, and C. It's like just being in the movement of, what those those hopes and dreams are, like Kevin said, is really important at any time and at any point in life. So
Mona Lee did say that she just finished nursing school and is taking a Reiki course. So I love that.
Oh.
We got another healer in the mix. The world needs a lot of healing and love right now. So that's wonderful.
It's so wonderful. And thank you to all the moderators who are posting the channels and all of the lovely help that you all do. I just, I'm so grateful for all of that. And they do it without asking, and they're just like so kind and in that contribution. I'm just so grateful. And I see you doing it when I watch all the other channels that you do it, and so many people's make such an impact and contribution in so many people's lives. And I think that it's so beautiful. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We lost Kevin, I think.
What?
Oh, maybe me too. I don't know.
Are you there?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Did you lose me? Because you went on my screen a little bit, and then I went. So I didn't know if it was my computer or what.
Maybe a little hiccup.
Yeah, we're all good.
Aw. Okay. Joan B. Does my grandmother have any message for me? Instantly, I see the birds and I know they're on your screen, but I'm curious if there's something within the birds, how you connect to grandmother.
Joan, if you're in the chat, can you give us the name of grandma? Because it helps me connect.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for that.
You're welcome, Mona Lee. I just feel like a giant smile around you. Like she's just so proud of you. And there's so much love there on the other side. Harriet, thank you.
Harriet.
Overwhelming sense of unconditional love is what I'm feeling.
Aww. She's showing me a picture and I see it on like a lower like chest of drawers, and I can see the picture. And I think it's you and her. There might be other people in it, but the focus is on you and her. She's bringing my attention to that, Joan, and she's bringing significance around the month of May. I saw flashes of pink, and that can sometimes be the like a female type of cancer. I was aware of that, and then something around the heart. But I just feel like the energy that's coming through is this acknowledgement of leadership. So I feel like there's this similarity in how she was a leader and how she was like the matriarch and the role model for so many people. She's acknowledging you in that. So I don't know if you would understand that in your family dynamic, being that for people. That's the perspective that she has in it, and that's what she's making me aware of. So acknowledgement around who you are for other people and how you model and how you are in contribution and the support and the listening and all of those things is the attention that she's bringing. So like Kevin said, like that big expression of blanket of love is coming from that from her for you around that.
What I'm picking up, and I was kind of pulled to the chest area as well. You would think heart, maybe cancer, but you know, she's not in any pain any longer, and I feel like she was really tired when she was in her body, kind of excited to get out of it. But she wants you to know that she was met by so many loving people and family members on the other side. I think that this is something that's so hard for you, but she wants you to know that she's just a thought away and she's always with you. Like I said, I just get an overwhelming sense of pride and joy for you. Like you were very precious to her. And I'm not sure if there was any anything going on with like after her passing, like her will or something like that, or some kind of attachment to physical things, but she wants you to know that she's not attached to that anymore. Because when we leave, we're in such a better place and everything like that. We're not attached to our bodies or, anything here anymore. So she's let that go. I don't know if that resonates with you at all, but I just, like I said, overwhelming sense of pride and joy and just unconditional love too. Like I definitely feel like a really strong connection between the two of you, almost like, she was your mom or like a second mother to you.
All righty. Thanks for your question, Joan. We'll probably have time for about 2 more.
Yeah.
Emily L. Do my guides have any messages for me? Let's see. And for all the people that came in a little bit later that are still asking questions, the questions, we had so many at the beginning. And so the questions are closed and we just have time for 1 or 2 more. So
I'm feeling like there's something that you're really passionate about. Like maybe it has to do with work and you're not putting that time into the passion, but I'm feeling Spirit saying, it's okay to put your time into that. Like I just get a strong sense is there's something that you're really passionate about. Maybe you're afraid to do it. But Spirit's saying, don't second guess yourself. Go for it.
Christine, thank you so much for your contribution. That's so kind of you.
Okay. So and kind. It's funny too, because the card I got was the Sacred Heart, and it's all about passion, love, spiritual communion. And yeah, that's, I think, just very much validation what I was saying. Like follow your dreams, follow what you're really passionate about. Yeah, I feel like there was a block, like there was a roadblock with this the temptress, some kind of deceit, or maybe something that stopped you from following that passion. But Spirit's saying to really go for it. It's going to bring a lot of harmony in your future, and just really tap into that power and confidence because you have what it takes.
I mean, to pivot off what Kevin said, just seeing beyond. So the recognition of that moment where it was like, okay, it takes something to kind of like see beyond this.
Yeah.
There's acknowledgement of that. And then such a beautiful card. So the new beginnings, and the new beginnings are now. So we don't have to wait for that. So there's this feeling of, not putting things on hold. I mean, we can, but we can also step into them in this very moment. This very moment is a new beginning. And this very moment is a new beginning. And every, moment that we have is a new beginning. So in that, it feels like this encouragement and support for, stepping into the new things, and not putting them, for a rainy day, or I'll start that on Monday, just really being in that now. So
letting it go and just go for it. I don't know if this, for some reason, I'm getting like whatever this passion in is really creative for you and just like an outlet. Like I'm drawn to maybe like dancing. Like I see somebody like dancing in a studio. So maybe it has to do with dancing, or that's maybe like freedom of just like liberating yourself from what's holding you back and do what you love. I don't know if that resonates if you're here, Emily, but
I love it. And Emily, I see, what are those called? Let me get this. Kingfisher. Is that a bird, right?
I've never heard of that kind of bird.
It's a kingfisher. And so there's the energy of the kingfisher around you. And I think when Kevin was talking about the heart chakra, did you show a card with like the heart?
Yeah, the sacred heart. That was the love.
Perfect.
And the passion.
Yeah. So that's what the kingfisher is bringing through, is like the peace and abundance and love. So I think that encompasses all of what we just, what Spirit was just saying, but the kingfisher energy is stepping forward. And so there's medicine in that. The animals bring such a wonderful way of languaging things, and so the kingfisher is working with you. The kingfisher.
Kingfisher. Cheryl
And if
says,
it's not, okay, it is a bird.
Kingfisher is a bird. Yeah, you're right.
Lisa's like, yes. Okay, good. Phew. Okay, so we've got time for one more. Where are we here? I'm just going to close my eyes. Oh, we already did that one. Is Jessica Lynn here? Jessica Lynn. Jessica Lynn. Yes, Earth Mama. Animals are very powerful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Kevin talked about this before, but my grandma who passed was like a second mother to me. We were really close, and both of our grandmas send us birds. And he saw a hummingbird, and that's the bird I asked her to send, which I never get. His grandma sends him hummingbirds, and I get all these wonderful, beautiful birds. I have a blue heron that lives out back, and geese, ducks. She loves to send me cardinals, blue jays, goldfinches, just all of these wonderful birds. She's here, and
perfect.
And I'm like, the one bird that I want is a hummingbird, and I'll see them every now and then, but they won't stick around my feeders. So I'm jealous. You need to tell tell my grandmother to get the memo.
I did. I put in the request, Kevin. So keep your eyes open.
I do see them every now and then.
I wasn't it up the sugar quantity or something? Yeah. They like it sweeter lately. I don't know. Sometimes they're like blah, but this year they seem to be
for sugar.
They
need a little bit of
sweeter
energy, probably.
Yeah. Oh, Cheryl takes lots of pictures of the eagles.
I get eagles every now and
then. That's so funny because I pulled, as she's saying the eagles, and you're talking about the hummingbirds, spread your wings card. So, Archangel Ariel. So just really encouraging and supporting you to spread your wings. It's time to soar. So whatever you're in decision, I feel like there's some anticipation and some reservations around kind of just stepping into it. And that seems to, it feels like a bit of a theme, but that's perfect. And I think that spirit often will do that, always does that, where it brings us together in the collective where multiple people are experiencing very similar. So in that,
I threw a couple cards, and it definitely kind of shows that you're going through something emotionally, but I got that freedom card again, and just letting it go, sending it off to the universe, and just that amazing feeling that happens when we can surrender things and free ourselves, finding that freedom. But your message is joy is what I got. So like a child, I discovered joy in the simplicity of life. Happiness lies in magical moments, not in the material. Even the smallest joy is a great source of light. And I think really just connecting into the joy and love to get you through this emotional time, and just trying to find ways to lighten up that energy a little bit, getting out of your head. And I think a wonderful way to go through healing is really to spend some time out in nature. And I feel like even maybe water may be very healing for you, Jessica, if you're by like a body of water. But just going outside and just breathing in that fresh air and just really connecting to source and finding that love and joy in life.
This is kind of funny, and I feel like you can handle it, Jessica, with it because it feels a little bit humorous, but they're like, especially before bedtime, they're Kevin was talking about connecting, and then I heard and don't forget to disconnect, put your phone down. So it's like on that being, mindful around something around the electronics. It feels like it's really stimulating and affecting. And so just being mindful of this certain disconnect around that would be really, really helpful. They're also making me aware of Ancestral. So I don't know if you're in the exploration of like your ancestry, or there's just support coming because of what you're going through. And in this moment, there just feels this connection to that. And then I pulled 2 cards, and I think it plays along what Kevin's saying. So kind of voyage. So as you're going through life and the experiences that you're having, we're not missing anything. We're not missing anything. And in that, there's the abundance. So the outside and just having things that are just so abundant at our doorstep. So not forgetting to, with the grounding or just stepping into nature feels really supportive for you. So
I love those cards, Kevin. Those are beautiful.
Aren't they beautiful cards? I have to say, it's probably my favorite deck. Denise Lynn, there's something about her cards and her imagery, and they're just so simple, and I like simple.
Right?
The Sacred Destiny deck.
Beautiful.
I absolutely love this deck. Actually, my new website I love this deck so much that this is, there's aspects of the aesthetic around that deck. So I love it.
You're welcome, Jessica.
Yes, you are so welcome. And thank you, everybody.
Yes.
That went so quick. That was too quick.
Yeah. I think we're getting into some good conversations, and even like, me kind of telling my journey a little bit for a while. But yeah, it's always fun to answer some questions. It's always like we never get to enough of them.
I know. Till next time. Well, thank you for being here. It was a blast. And once again, you guys don't forget to subscribe to Kevin's channel, and we will definitely be doing this again. It's always a pleasure working with Kevin, and someone that is, I just find when readings, they can be very, very different, and when they're very complimentary and in the flow and, reiterating some of the same messaging, I feel like that's extra special. So thank you. And anyone that didn't get their question read, check out Kevin. When are you on next?
I have a Tuesday show. I normally do politics, though. I have another collab. I think Medium Kim's in 2 weeks, and we're doing personals. But taking a little bit of, I have a lot of stuff going on right now, so I think, I have some openings for readings, but I'm going to really kind of recharge next week. Been feeling the need to just reconnect and get my energy levels back up.
Yeah, and you communicate all of your shows on your community tab and things, so people can always see.
But I will be on next Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my weekly Tarot Tuesday. We do politics, world events, those kind of questions.
Cool.
Yeah, but I'm sure it will only be a matter of time before me and you work together again.
I know it. Yeah. Call us psychic.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you. And we will see you all again.
Right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.